Oh, that's some crazy hair we've got going on there. Wow. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. Okay, so I promised that I would show you how to create a group in Facebook and the specific things that you want to take a look at when you are doing that. So I'm going to share my screen with you now. And what you're going to do is when you get into your Facebook page, you can do this on mobile. I suggest doing it on a desktop if you've got one, simply because it's actually a lot easier for you to see all of the different options. But can you do it on your phone? Of course you can. All right, so once you're in your newsfeed, what I want you to do is I want you to go to the groups tab. And then along the left-hand side, you're going to see a tab here that says create a new group. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to create a new group. First thing you need to know is, what am I calling this group? What am I calling this group? So Dee Dee's practice group. Okay, so we're just going to give it a name. When you choose a name for your group, it is important that you choose something that shows people who are doing searches very quickly what it is that you do. Most people will not read the about section. Well, they might, but they won't go into detail. So you've got like that first part above the line to communicate what it is that you're doing here. So ideally, you're naming your group something that tells people what it is. So if you have a coaching group around life skills, you might say life skills for single moms. That might be one. If it's a men's group, maybe it's, I don't know, pick something. All right, so pick a name. That's the first thing. Make it obvious what it is that is happening in this group. Wherever possible, try to choose common keywords that fit your niche. That's another important thing. And you can actually do hashtag searches. You can do topic searches. You can do keyword searches. I've done another little video on that. It's got a little handout as well about how to actually get to that and how to find keywords that you can use. But if you are life skills, that's an easy one. If you're a life coach, I mean, if you help people avoid burnout, include the words burnout in there. What is the specific language that your client is using to describe their problem? That's the kind of language you want to use in this table, because those are the keywords they are more likely going to use to search up your group. Okay. Because I would assume that you don't only want your group to be found by people you invite, right? You're trying to build a business here. So ideally, you're creating something that makes you easy to find. That's the ideal when we're doing marketing. Okay, so then the next thing you want to do is this one right here. Choose your privacy. So public means anyone can join, anyone can see what's happening in the group. And there's not a whole lot of ways to lock the group up and make it a private group. Now, if you are offering coaching within that group, if you are trying to collect your customers, your paying clients out of your group, I would strongly suggest making it private. Private implies exclusivity. And as we've talked about before, exclusivity creates this perception in our client's mind of, I'm special if I get to be there. And of course, our whole goal is to help our clients believe that they're special, because they are special. So if I'm making a suggestion, then the suggestion I would make is that you make it a private group when you're running a group for business. If you are running a community group, then I wouldn't make it private. Then I would make it public. But in the case of this training that I'm providing, I know we're all doing it for our business. So in order to help you to moderate the group content better, in order for you to be able to apply certain rules through the admin assistant and those kinds of things that will actually help you to eliminate content that you don't want. Like, we don't want spam or scams or those kinds of things. Myself, I'm very strict about allowing anybody in with crypto or Forex businesses. Wealth coaches, absolutely. Finance coaches, absolutely. It's the crypto Forex that I try to avoid. Okay, so I would suggest selecting private. Now, here's another one. Hidden versus visible. So private means it's a closed group. You have to actually click the join button. You have to answer membership questions. You have to agree to the rules. And as the moderator of the group, you've got a lot more control over what's happening, right? Versus public, which is an anybody can join free for all. Now you actually have two other choices. In this case, you have the ability to be visible, which means that you will show up in search results. And a few seconds ago, I just said to you, I strongly recommend using strong keyword search terms as part of your group title. And the reason for that is you do want to be visible. Hidden would be a group that you might create, for example, for your masterclass members. In that case, then I would make it a hidden group. It really is by invitation only. This is not available for just anyone to group. This is a paid service. In that case, then I would make it a hidden group. But if it's just going to be a group for you to collect your customers so that you can actually start to nurture them, build know, like, and trust, which is really our point of creating a group, as we've discussed, in that case, I would suggest keeping it visible. So that's that one. Of course, you have the option to invite your friends, right? So you could go down and start inviting all kinds of friends here. I'll invite my husband just for the sake of showing you how that goes. If you don't have that person on your friends list, can you add them? Let's see. Who do I, okay, well, why don't we try to find Tony? See how it's saying no results for Tony? It is only going to allow you to invite your friends. So if you have not made a friend connection with somebody that you think is a prospective client yet, I strongly recommend sending out lots of friend requests. And we're going to talk in a moment about using people who join your group and sending them friend requests. We'll talk about that in just a second. So once you've done those one, two, three, four things, and this, you can skip this step. You don't have to actually invite friends if you don't want to. If you want to have the chance to play around in your group a little bit, create the settings, do all of those kinds of things, then by all means, don't invite friends early. You can save that step for later. It's not a big deal. So the next thing you'll do, of course, is press create. You'll do create. It'll take a second to create the group because, depending on your internet speed. All right, now you are in the dashboard and the news feed of your new group. Along the left-hand side, this is where all of the tools are for running your group, okay? When you come to overview, you're actually going to see an overview of the content that's being placed in your group. This is not an overview specifically of your about and your rules and those kinds of things. This is an overview of analytics of the activity that's happening in your group, specifically today, as you can see. And if you were to click on this, well, I don't have any member reported contact because there's nobody here yet. There you go. But if you were to click on it, you'd be able to actually, it would bring forward the specific posts that are in question under these individual categories. So group quality, we'll talk about that one in a second as well. Let's come down over here. So admin assist. I did not myself use these immediately when I first started my group. I took a little bit of time to learn about these and play with them. And ultimately, at the moment, I only have one admin assist on. And the reason for that is part of what I teach you to do is to manually approve members. And the reason for that is because if you're setting up your membership questions in the way that I've suggested, which is to have one about, tell me about your current situation, another one in terms of, that's related to your niche. So for example, mine is tell me about how long you've been in business, what your goals are. So I've given 4 options. I'm new in business. I'm not yet making $10,000 a year. I just want consistency. Another one is I've been in business for more than a year. I'm still not making $10,000. I need more clients. So it gave 4 different options. Another one was I've been in business for more than a year, etc. The next one that I actually put in there, so that first question allows me to know how I should be creating content. What is the most common demographic that's coming into my group? One of the things that allowed me to do earlier this year was to recognize that, in fact, I actually wanted or should be working with newer businesses when initially I thought I would be working with businesses or women that have been in business for 12 or more months. as a result of having these questions in place, I recognized that I was actually attracting more people who had been in business less than a year than I was who had been in business more than a year. The other thing I knew was that sales was the primary struggle, that they were getting some appointments booked and then they weren't converting them. So that really helped me to know when I wanted to tweak my offer early on, that those were some good indicators for me of who my audience really was. The other reason I would suggest not using the admin assist, at least not early on or not until you have a VA, is if you are asking for email addresses, and of course, I think you all know that's going to be something I encourage you to do, is to request an email address, provide some kind of a freebie, and have an email address. You won't get every single person leaving their email address unless you've made that a condition of joining the group. I know of 2 groups that I'm in that did require you to leave the email address or you wouldn't be allowed into the group. So I'll let you decide for yourself whether that's the right move for you. And there's lots of reasons for and against that. We'll talk about that in a different training. But when a person leaves their email address, the unfortunate thing is you only get one chance to get that information. And unless you're using a forwarder that's collecting all of the answers from your group and moving them into an Excel spreadsheet, and there's a cost associated with those kinds of programs, unless you are using an automated system to move that information over, you need to capture it manually. If you allow the admin assist to put through the person and approve them into the group, you will not be able to get that information again. I've tried many ways. I thought I had figured it out and found one, and it did not include the email address, unfortunately. It did include that they had said yes to the group rules. They did say yes to the group rules, but unfortunately that screen that I did find did not show what their answers were to the questions, which is weird because I know that when I've joined a group, if I want to go back and look at my own answers, I can see them. Why can't the admin see them? So if I figure that one out, guys, I will absolutely update you and let you know. And if you know, please let me know. All right, so I'm suggesting don't use the admin assist right away. You can turn this on and helps you to automatically manage the posts and the membership requests. In early days, I do recommend don't use it. You can set rules for declining and approving. You can also set rules for suspensions and turning off commenting, those kinds of things. The next one down is your member requests. Okay, so Group Collector Chrome is the extension that I use to actually collect all of my group information. It is a paid extension. It's really easy to use, really, really useful. And that actually takes all of my answers over for me as soon as the person puts in their request. So that's a good thing. In terms of what comes up in here, I will show you in my group how those things come up. You can do bad requests if you want or not. Really, in the beginning, the most important ones are create a banner. Let people know what the feel is of your group. So include an image, and if you want to include the name of the group on there, you can. What I prefer to put on there myself is really more along the lines of what are we doing in here? So if you have an I help statement, maybe put that on there. A picture of you is an ideal if you're open to doing that. I'm a little bit shyer. I prefer not to put a picture of myself on my group. I'm very visible in my group though, so I'm not sure that it really matters. It's really, I think, a matter of personal preference. I'm sure there are some marketing gurus that will say you are your brand, therefore it should have a picture of you. I'm working on that one. All right, so have a picture up here, absolutely, that tells people. So you've got your home page, you've got your banner page up here, or sorry, your banner image up here. The next thing that you want to add is membership questions. Membership questions are the ones that I was talking about earlier. So you can actually create any question you want. You could say, how did you find us? How'd you find us, right? You have the choice of selecting checkboxes where you actually put in your own options. And they can choose multiple. If you select checkboxes, that means they can choose all that apply. If you choose multiple choice, they can only select one. And if you put in written answer, then of course they actually have a space where they can write in their answer. So in this case, I'm actually going to put in multiple choice. Referred by a friend. Referred by a friend is a good one. I always want to know if they've been referred by a friend. Basic search, or how about a keyword search? Okay. How about from another group? Another group. And what might be another one? What might be another way that they found you? Off your profile. Your profile. Danielle's, or you could say, yeah, Danielle's profile. There you go. Just make it. I'm making them up as I go. I didn't really put a lot of thought into what the questions would be for this. And then you're going to save them. And then what happens is, of course, it comes up. You can create up to 3 questions. Okay, you can only create up to 3 questions. Let's do another one. What is your email address? Would you like a copy of my free guide to being your best self? How's that? Please leave your email address below. Right? And we're not going to do a checkbox for this one. We're going to do a written answer. There you go. So you can create another one. Let's see. Let's do, would you be interested in receiving a free 30-minute coaching consultation with Danielle? We're going to do multiple choice. We're going to say yes. And we're going to say no. Okay, so now I've got the 3 questions, and you can see up here, create has been grayed out, and that means, sorry, no more questions to be made. So I want you to be really targeted about which questions you're using. Are you going to offer some kind of a freebie so that you can build up your email list and then use that email list to continue to nurture your audience? We've talked about how frequently you should be sending out emails, which is not daily, right? So it never hurts to collect the email addresses. You might not be using them today, but you will probably be adding an email campaign into your business at some point down the road. And for that reason, I do strongly suggest grabbing the email addresses now that you can, and try to do it right from the beginning. If you want to talk about how did you find us, that's one option. More than how did you find me, I like to know what your current position is. Maybe it's a question about which of these challenges are you facing in your business, and give options that specifically apply to your niche. You know, which of these challenges are you experiencing in your daily life? Difficulty sleeping, grumpy all the time. Like, you could put all kinds of different options for that. So multiple choice, it is choose one. Check boxes, choose as many as apply. Written answer, it allows you to leave it open. Now, that being said, I think the maximum answer is 130 characters. And don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. It might be 104, but I think it's 130. So now you've got your questions ready. What those are going to do is those are going to actually help you to uncover whether or not the people coming into your group are your ideal clients. Of course, you have the option to decline to let somebody come in. Absolutely, you do. But these are going to actually help you to understand, am I attracting my ideal clients? Okay. And of course, that's our goal. The next section that I strongly recommend completing is the group rules. And as you come down to the bottom of the page here, you can see here for group rules. Or if you scroll down on that sidebar as well, you'll see group rules right down here. So now we've covered setting up the group, giving it a name, choosing its visibility, choosing its privacy, whether or not you're going to invite friends early on. Put some kind of a banner image up. I have provided in the to group or not to group. Oh, no, it wasn't that one. It was optimize your personal profile for business. banner image sizes, I'll make sure that I provide a copy of that image in here so you can see where the bleed area is. Remember, you want your image to be able to be seen on mobile. What I do for myself to ensure that people will be able to read the whole thing on mobile, I actually download my image onto my phone, and then I make the image change on my phone. And then as I'm moving it around and repositioning, I can clearly see what's visible and what isn't on that mobile screen. Just a little tip, you don't have to do it that way. I just find it makes it easier. It takes the guesswork out. Okay, so you can see over here, even Facebook is going to provide you with some prompts of things to do. So we've got, sorry, I just heard the door. We've got our membership questions done now. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to come down here to group rules. There's no rules set up, so let's get started. You have the option to write your own, which is really wonderful. I have one in mind, and I can't even remember how it even goes now, but it's all like my personality. I think I got poo symbols in there and everything. So you have the option to write your own, or you can click on one of their pre-made ones. I do suggest having a little bit of personalization in here. I really like putting emojis into my rules. And the reason I like doing that is it's just a little bit different from the norm. So many people go through and they go click, 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 click on the group answers, and they don't really put a lot of thought into it in the group rules. If they see something that's a little bit different than what they're expecting, they're more likely to read them. So if you've got something that's a little bit unique, so for example, if you are a trauma-informed coach and you are working with people on generational trauma, there's an example. You would definitely want to have something in here that really speaks to, the private, confidential nature, as well as the compassion, right? You might want to have something in here that talks about, possibly being triggered in this group. And fair warned is fair armed, as they say. So you have the choice of picking and choosing the ones that they've already done. You can see that you can just pick any of the 4 or all of them. So if we were to add that one, add that one, add that one, add that one, we can still add another one. We're going to say random rule with a general description, just for the sake of this, the general rule, just for the sake of this exercise. And you can see I've got 5, and I believe you can let's say random rule number 2, and you can keep going. Random 3. Okay, so you can see I can just keep going with making rules. Now, that being said, here's what I'm going to tell you. The more rules you create, the more you kind of say to people, you don't want to be here. So try to make them succinct. Don't try to have like a list. Don't create like bylaws. This isn't an association. You're not it's not the College of Physicians or anything like that. So you want to still be welcoming. And that's, I guess, what the challenge is with the rules. And why I like to use the emojis. It does make it just a little bit more inviting, but that's my personality. If that doesn't suit your personality, of course you wouldn't do that. One of the other things I always like to suggest is try to change up the wording, even if you are going to use one of Facebook's, rules. Why not change this up a little bit? Why not add other things into this? You don't have to just use their basic rule. You do have a maximum number of characters, although the length of this one, excuse me, is a little bit longer. Okay, so now you've got your rules created, you've got your membership questions created, you're almost ready to start inviting people into your group. The next thing that I want to suggest that you do is actually create your About section. The About section is here under Group Settings, okay? So in this area, you've got all kinds of ways that you can customize things. We're going to start up at the top, and I'm going to recommend to you just go through all of the fields. You can't hurt anything. This is software. Anything you set can be unset. Anything you set can be changed. The one thing that cannot be changed when you go from being a public group to a private group, you cannot change back to a private group. And the reason for that is by being a public group, by being a private group, you've basically created a commitment to your membership about the privacy of the group. And so therefore, Facebook will not let you revert back and make things public. When people join a private group, they believe, and I believe it's written in their privacy terms, that once you've joined a private group, you can feel safe that your information is not leaving that group. I don't know, it's kind of a strange promise to make, because what if one of the members copies it even still? So to go into the name and description, that's what these little pencils are along the side, right? So you're going to put in a description, and this can be very long-winded. I believe this one can be almost 500 words. Sorry, 500 characters, I mean to say. So coming in here and talking about what is this group? What's my intention? Who do I serve? And what will you get out of this group? Those are the ideal things to be putting into the description. What is it we do in here? If your name has not fully explained what you're going to do, this is a great opportunity to add a little bit more. I will say that the first 150 characters are what will show to a person when they come over here, right? So when they come here and you see this about group, there will be a little bit of a blurb here. As they're thinking of joining the group, they will see this, and it's got about 150 characters, and then it says see more. Try to get the most important parts in that first 150 characters. All right. So come back over here to group. Group settings. Come back over here. Type in this group is has been created to create a train. This group is a ghost group to create a training video. There you go. Okay. So that's been saved. And you also can see here in this group settings, all of the things that I've already told you about are actually also in this area. So early on, you can actually name your group. So you can give it a short title. You don't have to take the pre-made numbered website that Facebook has created for you. Okay, but you can see right here, once your group has actually reached more than 5,000 members, you cannot customize the address again. That being said, I have customized the name of my group each time I change the name of my group along with my niche. So you can certainly, up until you have 5,000 members, you can continue to change it quite a few times actually. So we're going to save that. Then we're going to talk about this. So who can join the group? Do you want to allow profiles and pages, or only profiles? So there are a lot of people that actually operate online strictly as a business page. I don't allow pages as well, and I think it's really more because of the personal touch to it. I don't know why I made that decision, to be honest with you. I don't think there's any risk in having pages as well, but you get to make that choice. Who's pre-approved to join? Do you have anybody? You can choose groups if you want to. So you could come into your other groups, for example, if you've already got some. So for example, I might say that anybody from these two groups of mine can join. They don't need to actually receive my pre-approval, or sorry, they don't need to receive my manual approval, right? So I could do that, for example, if I wanted to, or I could leave it that there's none. In this one, approving the members' posts, you have the choice to make all posts have to be approved by you before they go up, or you can let the group members free for all. My choice was to let the group members just free for all. And if I discovered that there was going to be a problem, if people were sharing inappropriate things, sharing links outside the group, like sharing links off of Facebook, those kinds of things, if people were putting up crypto and Forex, if people were trying to use it as an advertising vehicle, I guess. I do allow certain days, as you know, but I don't want it done every day. So you can make that choice. I chose to let it be. I don't want to have to manage that. Think about the time that it's going to take you to have to approve posts. Also think about the user experience if you have to approve posts. So busier you get, the more clients you have, the more time in your day is going to be taken up. Do you really want to be spending your time micromanaging what goes up and what doesn't? Or would you rather just let things go up and you'll manage it if it becomes a problem? Only you can answer that. I know what works for me, and you should answer what works for you. Okay. Let's see. You can go through all of these ones another time. I wouldn't worry about them. I wouldn't worry so much about these either. The only thing I might do is I would say remove the sell something. Okay. And if you don't want people doing reels, remove that. Okay. If you don't want people going live unless it's been pre-approved, take that out. Okay. Events, maybe you have to make this decision for yourself of whether or not you want these post formats to be an option. So asking for recommendations, tell me, most people don't use that one anyway, but I would definitely say allow polls, allow gifts, allow files. I would suggest allow events. I don't know that asking for recommendations is necessary, but it doesn't hurt to have it there. Maybe somebody's asking for a recommendation and it's going to actually help that, one of your clients is going to say, oh my gosh, you absolutely got to speak to Teresa about this. Okay. So I'll let you make that decision. Linked pages. If you yourself have a business page, you may want to actually create a linked page here, right? If not, recommended groups, maybe you've got other groups of your own that you want to recommend. Like I would certainly recommend my Consistent Income Creators Club. Of course I would. And then apps would be, for example, where you might select having Zoom, where you might put in that group group collector that moves everything over. Maybe you want to have a business chat bot in there. So there's all kinds of options in here, and you'll have to explore these on your own because I don't know enough about all of them to suggest. Otherwise, perhaps talk with Phyllis Winters, our automation queen. She may also be a good option for that. Let's see, we were all the way down here. All right, so now we've got our banner image, our group name, our privacy set, our visibility set. We've put in our about, we've got our questions, and we've got our rules. Really? You are ready to go. You are ready to go and take some time to explore what's going on in these group settings. There's lots in here. If you've got specific questions, just reach out to me, just Voxer me, and we'll go through it. I will need to probably see a screen though, so that one might take me a little bit longer to get back to you. Group quality. This is something that Facebook puts up that's actually about whether or not there was any violations of community standards that were reported to them. Let's see what else. I think that was it. I think that was it. I think that was all I really wanted to show you. Okay, so featured might be the only other one. This is a lot like having a pinned post on your personal, pinned post personal. This is a lot like having a pinned post on your personal profile. So if we were to create a group or create a post, let's just pick a picture. Let's just pick a picture. All right, we're going to put building strong businesses together. Okay, so let's say, for example, this was a welcome post. Welcome to my group. Maybe you've done a little video that says, welcome to my group. This is what we do here. This is what we're all about. If that's something that you want all new members to have the chance to see, you're going to go into the three little dots in the upper corner of your post, and you're going to pin to featured. That's it. Now, what's going to happen is that this is actually going to show up here. Look, right there. Yay. Yay. We don't have other posts to put up. So you could put your group rules. Maybe you could pin your group rules there so that everybody's reminded what the rules are. And I don't think that's a bad idea in the beginning. I don't know that it's necessary on an ongoing basis. Maybe for the first 50 to 100 people, you would keep that there. But I would suggest that it's not really the big deal in your group. You don't want to be rule focused. You want to be collaboration focused. You want to be community focused. So I'll leave that one up to you to decide if you want to pin it or not. All right. I think that's it though. And you can see we've already completed 3 of the 4 most important actions. Adding a cover photo. Let's upload a photo. Let's upload a photo to group or not to group. Let's do that one. To group or not to group. There you go. Oh, I gotta move my picture out of the way. Save the changes. Done. There you go, guys. It really is that simple. Okay, so that is a basic Facebook group and how to set it up. If you've got any questions beyond that, a lot of it is really trial and error. It's not difficult. I don't want to imply that it's difficult. I just wanted to point out the 5 or 6 key areas that you want to make sure that you've got done. I do recommend writing your about before you actually go in and start setting up the group, and even giving some thought to what the rules will be before you even go in and set up the group, okay? That's my recommendation for you. Okay, I think that was it. If you've got any questions, you know how to reach me. You can either send me a message on Facebook Messenger, or you can reach out to me via Voxer if you've joined that new program. I look forward to speaking with you soon. Have a wonderful day. Please don't forget to invite me to your group. Bye.